Hello, my name is No Rat Cat. Or at least that's what I'm known on DeviantArt and many other websites. Well, today I'm here to do my first movie review, or at least my first video movie review, and well, let's see if I do a good job. And yes, this is a llama sweatshirt, or sweater. Now, today I'm reviewing a little film called Ghoulies. In fact, here's the cover to the DVD. See it? It's actually a double-sided DVD of the first two films, but I'll be reviewing the first one, right here. Now, as a small child, I often looked into video stores and occasionally saw a videotape which depicted a little demon coming out of a toilet, sort of like a mutant Cabbage Patch Kid. That film was Ghoulies. Now, it took me years until I was in elementary school before I actually went out and rented it, and well, I was really into horror movies at the time, and still am. So I decided to rent it and popped it in, and well, it wasn't what I expected. Now, it wasn't a bad movie. I mean, it certainly wasn't one of the best movies, but I certainly enjoyed it. But I don't think it's as bad as most people say. Now, yes, it does involve little monsters, which are more or less demons from hell, or the Ghoulies, if you will. But the thing is, the film does not revolve around them. Yeah, the film came out in 1985, and it had some creative input by Charles Band, who's best known for the Puppet Master series and responsible for the first Troll movie, not the second one. Now, out of the four films in the series, the first one, like I said, it has the Ghoulies, but it does not revolve around them. The film starts off with a satanic cult doing, well, devil worshipping stuff. What would you expect a satanic cult to do? And the leader, Malcolm Graves, is about to sacrifice his infant son when a woman, who's supposedly his mother, comes in to stop him. And then after placing some sort of magic protective wards thing on him, Malcolm can't touch him. And so she, after pretty much giving the baby to another member of the cult, Wolfgang then leaves with the infant Jonathan, and then Malcolm pretty much uses magic to rip his wife's heart out, while we see the little demons, the Ghoulies, watch, although they can't clearly be seen. The film fast forwards 25 years later, where Jonathan has inherited his house after his father has died. And apparently, during that time, he was practically raised by Wolfgang, who's now the caretaker. He and his girlfriend Rebecca decide to throw a housewarming party. By his, I mean Jonathan. And they invite all their friends, and typical 80s. This part is really, you could tell it's the film's in the 80s. After a bunch, drinking beer and drugs, they decide. Jonathan decides that maybe they should hold a ritual. Earlier in the film, while he was looking through the basement, he discovered a bunch of old occult stuff, which, unknown to him, belonged to his father. So, going downstairs, Jonathan draws a pentagram on the floor and tries to conjure a spirit. Nothing happens. And while all his guests leave disappointed, Jonathan goes upstairs to join them. And then, soon this mist covers the area, and then something appears in the pentagram, and here's where we get our first Ghoulie. Now, in the film, there's four types of Ghoulies. And, first, there's the one that first appears is known as the Rat Ghoulie. Then there's one that looks like a cat, the Cat Ghoulie. And then there's one that looks like a bat. And then there's the titular ones. At least the one that always appears on the cover. He's called, as you can see here, they call this guy, apparently his official name is the Fish Ghoulie, but most fans just call him the Toilet Ghoulie since he's coming out of a toilet. Sounds better than fish. Now, over the course, Jonathan starts getting really into the occult as he finds more of his father's things, mostly his old equipment and outfit and this giant pitchfork thing that he carries around. He takes some time off school. Apparently, I guess he's still going to college, even though he's 25. Although that's not far fetched. He explains to his girlfriend Rebecca that he wants to remodel the house and make it look nice. However, things go wrong as he gets into this, the more darkness overtakes him. The following night, he performed the ritual and summons the titular toilet ghoulie along with the numerous others, and then he instructs them to only appear to him but to freely roam around the grounds. This is all sensed by Wolfgang, who wakes up in a cold sweat, or I'm guessing a cold sweat, and apparently he narrates that he feels like. Apparently, at this point, Wolfgang serves as the narrator. Now, I can feel the film it can be a bit confusing at times, so I think the creators felt the need to have Wolfgang occasionally narrate and explain what's going on. Sort of like what they did with Rockadoodle. Having a character speak over everything and explain what's happening, even though the audience is intelligent enough to figure it out for themselves. We don't need people talking constantly. Anywho, Jonathan continues the black magic ritual stuff, and while in the basement he creates a storm while two of the ghoulies actually watch and giggle at this. And then Rebecca walks in on him, and the situation's rather awkward. She's a little pissed off, especially since she said he was going to remodel the house, and now he's dressed like he's dressing up for Halloween. But of course, he claims he feels like this is moving him closer to his parents, whom he never knew. Although Rebecca still feels nervous about the whole thing. Now, but of course, Jonathan reassures her everything's okay, and she buys it. He even gives her a necklace he made for her, which is supposed to protect her. That night, they decide to celebrate by doing what most couples do: make love. In the bed, as they, underneath, we see a ghoulie has placed a pentagram. As it starts to glow, Jonathan starts muttering all sorts of strange words, and Becky, feeling estranged, eventually pulls away and sees the pentagram, and after cursing Jonathan out, walks out and just leaves. However, Jonathan's not one to give up his woman, and he does some more black magic rituals, which summons two dwarfs, imps. Well, they're played by dwarf actors named Grizzle and Greedy Gut. Jonathan wants to know how to gain power, and they explain to him that there's a master ritual he can take, which will supposedly give him that, and win back Rebecca. As Rebecca comes back later, and all because she wants to bring Jonathan away because she's worried about him. Jonathan is wearing sunglasses at this point, and when he pulls away, we see his eyes have turned an eerie glowing green. And while Rebecca's frightened by all this, she just decides it's over and wants to walk out, but then with the mere mention calling of her name and saying he loves her, Rebecca stops. At this point, she's completely under his power, and Jonathan invites all his friends to undertake the master ritual.